The 44th book that I completed in 2024 is The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. This is simply one of the best novels I've ever read in my life. It is so clever. I watched so many of my students over the last 2 or 3 years read this book, and we don't teach the Odyssey at the school where I'm at, and so we don't teach any Greek literature, ancient Greek literature, and so I always wondered why they were reading this book, and I think I just assumed that this book was not actually about Achilles, that there was that this acted as a metaphor for something more modern day that they would want to read. But then when I read it, I got it. I don't remember specifically what students I saw this book out on their desks. It was definitely 4 or 5 different students over the course of the last 2 or 3 years. But this book is LGBTQ plus, and it is wonderful. And I've got a feeling that the students that were reading it are open-minded students who read this book because they were interested in that topic. It is a retelling of the Trojan War. And I did a little research on this because I'm not very well versed in ancient literature at all. And so I did a little bit of research, and I found out that this book is very accurate historically, I guess mythologically, right? To the Trojan War and to the story of Achilles and to the stories of other Greek gods and warriors that are in this book. And yet Miller fills in the gaps as well and flushes out what Homer didn't include in the Iliad. This is mostly a book that's based on the Iliad. Odysseus is in this book, but the Odyssey is not the foundation of the story. This is a story of Achilles and Patroclus and their love for each other. And they are homosexuals at a time when that was kind of accepted, but still needed to be hidden. I think it was kind of like a don't ask, don't tell kind of thing. Everyone knows that Achilles and Patroclus are together, and yet everyone is trying to marry Achilles off, and everyone is trying to marry Patroclus off at the same time with other women, right? So this is I think I'm not spoiling anything. I think we all know that Achilles dies in the Trojan War, even though he's prophesied. Well, he's prophesied to die in the Trojan War, even though he's been dipped in the river and given the power of invulnerability except for his heel, right where his mother held his heel. And I think this is a great book, and he dies at the end. It is tragic. It is very sad, but on the very last page of the book, there is a little bit of a hopeful is the wrong word, but there's a little bit of a peaceful, let's say, ending to a book that's about war. I highly recommend this book. It is absolutely a wonderful read. I flew through it. It was so interesting, and I liked it a lot. Song of Achilles. Her other book is called, or she's got 2 others, but the other book that's like this one is called Circe, and I am definitely going to read it again, even though I'm not really into Greek mythology and I don't know much about it. Can't wait to read her other book.